Hello, my name is Gabriela Boyandiu and I'm subject sector leader at Craven College. That means that I lead all of the art and design courses at Craven College, and my specialism is fine art, which means that I do a lot of drawing, painting, printmaking, and I also like doing some photography, some digital and moving image. So today we're going to do an activity which really is looking at how you can perhaps recycle one of your old drawings. So, when you do some drawings and perhaps they end up at the bottom of your folder or at the back of your sketchbook, or you don't really know what to do with them because you're not particularly pleased with them. So if you get one of these drawings, and I'll just give you an example here that I've done before. So it's just a pencil drawing. I don't know if you can see it. So if you turn it face down and you draw a grid at the back of it, I have chosen a 5 by 5 centimeter grid, but you can do 7 by 7 or 10 by 10 as long as your grid is square. That's really quite important. So if you draw that on the back of your drawing, so you decide how big your squares are going to be. And then you will need, obviously you'll need a ruler and a pencil to do that, the drawing. And then you will need either a piece of cardboard that you can cut on, so obviously you're not cutting the table, either a craft knife or a cutting mat if you've got one. These are really, really useful, so it's definitely worth investing into one. Or if you're really good at cutting with scissors, you can also use scissors, okay? So I'm just going to move the camera and show you what I'm going to do afterwards. So, the other thing that you might need at the end of it would be some PVA glue, just the squarely, quite runny glue that we use. Just a few bits of cardboard so we can spread the PVA glue with. And once you've cut all of your squares, so if that's your drawing, you've done the grid on the back, and then you've cut it all in squares. What I've done with another drawing that I've done beforehand is I've actually grouped the squares into some really busy squares like these ones, okay? Some a little bit less busy squares like these ones, so they've got just a little bit of drawing on them, and then some squares that got nothing on, okay? So after you've done that, and especially if you've got your mobile phone handy, what you could do is, I'm going to start with the really busy squares. I'm just going to put them together, just like that. And then what's really fun about this is that you can do it a few times. So you can put them, first of all, random. Okay, just put them all like that. And then once you've put a little composition together, I know it looks a bit abstract, but it doesn't really matter. What you could do is take a photograph and then jiggle them back to, in a different way, and then take another photograph. So that will allow you to actually have a few different artworks from the same drawing that you didn't think it was a good drawing in the first place. So it's quite a nice way of playing about with the artwork that you already have. So what I'm going to do is take a photograph of this, and then after I've taken a photograph, jiggle them away, maybe introduce some of the quieter squares, the ones that have less drawing on, and just keep playing, take another photograph and so on. Once you've decided where you want them and you're quite happy with the composition, again, it doesn't have to make sense. In fact, if I look at this, I can just see that there's some house plants in there, but they're just obviously all in a very odd order, which is fine. What I was going to do was to start sticking them on. So again, you need quite a nice thick piece of paper. And what I'm doing is, I've got some PVA here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread the PVA really thin on the back of that piece of paper. And then I'm going to start sticking them on. Okay, one by one. You can use a glue stick if you don't have PVA, but I prefer the PVA because it glues on permanently. The glue stick can snap off because it's quite a dry glue. So the PVA is much nicer, especially if you've got nice thick paper, that will stick it on really, really well. So after you stuck them all on, the other thing that you could do is, I've got a few markers here. I've kind of drawn them here and I didn't like the red, so you kind of need to decide what colours work best for you. And the other thing that you can do is you just start introducing a little bit of colour in here, just to make it a bit more interesting. That would be really nice. So what I've done is I've actually chosen some greens and some yellows and some light browns, and I'm going to just play around with these. And if you have noticed, I haven't chosen black. See, even if I'm going to do some outlines, I don't like black outlines because it makes things really quite sharp and quite dark, and it's not allowing you to see the beautiful drawing that you've got in there. So I always invest into a really nice marker that's kind of dark brown or dark grey, and I've got another one here that's a really nice light, lovely light grey. So if you want to do some outlines, you can. But you see that biro line underneath that was in my original drawing, you can still see it. So you can stick them on, then cut it in a really nice little frame, and that's your artwork. So with the drawing that you thought, I didn't really know what to do with it, it wasn't a really good drawing, suddenly you can have a really nice new piece of work. The other thing that I've done is, with one of my old drawings, is that I've cut it into slightly larger squares, so these are 10 by 10. And in my sketchbook, I've got some sketches that I like. And that's my little sketchbook about houseplants. So I've got some sketches that I've done in here, and of course I've got some in pencil, some in marker, some on the back of this with the biro, and then and some more here. But then if I've got a couple of squares like that, I'm just going to stick them in, which I have done, and then colour a little bit, and then take the lines from your actual squares and just kind of walk them on the rest of the page. Just keep drawing them. So these lines of the leaves that have been cut there, I'm just continuing them, and then keep adding a little bit of shadowing, and that's another page in your sketchbook on the same theme. And the same with that. So I've got a square there, but also got some little strippy lines, so again I've drawn around them with a silver pen, and then I've got just two of them that I've put together, and then I've redrawn on them and just made them a little bit more detailed. So really, drawings that you think they're not really that good, you can always do something else with them. They become slightly abstract. You can still see that they're about houseplants, but they're not about how realistically you're drawing, and they're about how well you actually putting things together and composing things together. And after these 3 pages in my sketchbook, I've carried on just doing some more drawings, just observational drawings from houseplants. So I've got here one with a marker, and this one is with the biro. So I hope that was interesting for you, and I hope that you will try it on at home. And I really hope that you will follow us at art and design _ Craven College on Instagram and see what else we're up to. Thank you. Bye-bye.